Hello, I was on the Silent Hunter 3 forums recently and posted a screenshot of mine which I'd made look like a old-fashioned photo, and I was asked how I did it, so I've just decided to create this little video to show people how I created the effects. So I've already opened up in Photoshop CS5 the files that I need. I've got my original screenshot plus a texture that I'm going to use to create some marks on the photograph, and then two textures for the edges of the photograph. So the first thing that we need to do is to get our original screenshot and convert it to black and white. We can just do that by adding this adjustment layer, and if you'd like you can also add a sepia tint by just clicking tint and clicking on the box to change the amount of tint that you want. So we're just now going to flatten the image again, and next thing to do is to add some noise. So we go to filter, noise, add noise, and because it's quite a small file, about 2 will be fine. Then we need to duplicate the background layer, and we just click and drag down to this little button down here and go to filter, texture and grain. Again, because it's quite a small file, use the setting. Just have a bit of a mess around to get something that you like. Click OK, and then we need to change this blending to overlay and bring the opacity right down just to get something that you like. Okay, again go to layer and flatten image, and it's looking a bit faded and washed out, so if we just go to image adjustments and curves, you can just experiment with this by increasing the contrast a little until you get something you're happy with. Now we'll duplicate the background layer again and double click on the background copy and create an inner glow. Bring up the size to as much as it'll go, and then bring the opacity down so you get the sort of faded look around the edges of the photograph. Again, it's personal choice as to how much you go for. Flatten the image again. Then we need to go to our markings texture. I just googled for these textures until I found one that I like. You could select all, copy and paste it onto your screenshot. Then we need to change the blending of this layer to soft light and bring the opacity down until you get something you like. Flatten the image again and duplicate the background again. Now the next thing that we need to do is to move everything onto this dark texture layer. So we get the light texture, select it all, copy it and paste. And the screenshot, select all that and paste, copy and paste onto the dark texture. Now we want both of these layers to be layer masks, so just click this icon down here on layer 2, layer 1. Make sure that you've put the light coloured paper onto the background first, and making sure that you've now selected the layer mask of layer 2, not the layer itself, the layer mask. Go to paint, brush icon, make sure that the foreground is black. You can just twiddle the settings with these arrows, but make sure the foreground's black. Change the size of the brush with your bracket keys, get something quite small, and then just start rubbing around the edge of your photograph. And we're going to be creating the jagged sort of ripped edge of the photo. So just create a bit of room so that both of the layers behind will show up. Doing this quite quickly, we probably want to take a bit more time when you're doing it with your own. And I'd probably use a slightly smaller brush just to create a bit more of a realistic looking edge. So I'm just doing this rather quickly for the tutorial. So now that we've got pretty much what we want for the layer with the screenshot on, we need to go to the layer mask of the light texture layer. Again, make sure that it's the layer mask that is selected, and then start painting over that, again with black selected, and bring through the background layer so it looks like the photo is stuck into an old album or something like that. So again, I'll just do it quite quickly. And when we've done this, we've nearly finished. There you go. Just two more things that we need to do to make it look a little bit more realistic. We need to double click on layer 1 and add a drop shadow, and I bring the distance back down to about 1, something like that, and bring the size maybe down slightly, just till you get something you like. Click OK for that. Double click on layer 2, add a drop shadow to that as well, and again just bring it back in terms of size and distance, just till you get something which you're quite happy with. OK, and go to layer and flatten, and that's it, you've got your finished image. So hope you found that useful, and I'll look forward to seeing your photos on the forum.